What's going on, guys? So you want to build your first 2K25 golf course. I'm going to show you how to do it from the start. I think I'm not going to show you everything, but I'm going to show you everything I think that you need to spark that creativity and to really get you going and moving, and all the things that you need to design that golf course. Now, there's lots of great guys out there on YouTube. I'm not the best course designer. There's lots of guys on YouTube that you can go and check out. B101 is one of them. Crazy Canuck is another guy. I watch those guys all the time, and they're very good designers. But what this is a video where we're going to take you right in. I'm going to show you all the things, a few things that, like I said, are going to help you spark that creativity and are everything I think you need to build a golf hole. Here we go. Let's go. So we're going to go into a new course. So we're going to name it YouTube. Next, we get to pick a theme. You can pick whichever theme you like, whichever one looks the best to you. I'm not going to go over too much detail about these, but we're going to focus more on the golf holes. But we're going to take, let's do Boreal. Why not? That's the theme. Next thing we want to do is lay out the terrain. So water level. So this controls how high the water is. A lot of people control that height by taking the whole plot and moving all of the land up. So anyways, I'm just going to leave this at sort of 40. Hills, I'm going to leave some hills in there. Some people like the trees in. I'm going to take out the plants. I'm going to take out the grass. Going to take out the rocks. Going to put those to 0. Trees, you can also adjust this after with the trees, the plants, and the grass, but we'll set this all, just leave it here for now. Next thing we got to do is the course layout. So in here, one of the things it gives you, as you can see over here, it gives you 18 holes where you can start working on that and creating. And my buddy started doing this, and this is why I wanted to make the video for beginners. My buddy started doing this and said once he understood that, you know, you can wipe all those holes out and really start from a blank slate, from a clean piece of land, life got a lot easier. So that's what we want to do. We want to eliminate all these holes, all this stuff, and start with a clean piece of land. So here we go. We're going to move this to 0. We're going to do fairway width to 0, bunkers to 0, green size to 0, and we're going to apply. At that point, we're essentially ready to go onto our plot of land. So we're going to go continue, and we're going to move on to the land. So here we are on our plot of land. So we have a piece of land that's surrounded by hills and a lot of trees, hills, not much going on. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to change this backdrop. So you have choices in your backdrop. If you want to do it just the hills, you have those at the top. So these hills I think are just going to be a little bit steeper, but we're still going to be fully enclosed in the hills. We'll see if it changes here. We have some bigger hills in the background there, but I don't want that. I want to get some water in there, so I'll just choose this one so that I can sort of show you how to start working with a bank with the water. We'll work with this one and see. There it is. So here we go. Now we're on the coast of a lake, and we're gonna start building a golf course. Okay, so here we have this nice bank. First thing we can do, I'm gonna show you this. This isn't really needed, but a lot of people I know are gonna want to do it because they're gonna want to incorporate the land. So really quickly, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of what I'm doing here. I guess I should tell you guys, I'm going to landscape flatten. I always use landscape flatten, and we can grab whatever brush. I'm gonna grab this guy here, and we're just gonna go and make it bigger. I'm not sure how you do it with an Xbox controller. I'm using a mouse and keyboard. This is the way that I do it. I do use a joystick to play the game, and then I'm gonna lower this plot of land. So you can see the edge of the border there isn't disappearing, but once I click this into place, you'll see it'll disappear. So I'm gonna go down, let's go down about, 80 feet should be good. So we'll get rid of that. We'll move this over, we'll get rid of that. So now we have our own sort of coastline here, right? And I'll move this right over to the edge of the plot. And we have this beautiful new coastline that we can modify, change more easily. There we go. But let's get into it. First thing we need on a golf hole is we need a tee box. So we're gonna build a tee box. We're gonna go into edit holes here. We're gonna go create surface. And notice we don't have a tee box, but people use fairway. So we're going to use a fairway. And now we have the choice to either use a brush or a spline. So if I want to use a spline, what I can do is I can create my own shape. with the spline for the tee box. That's one way to do it. There's a tee box right there. The other option that I have is to create a tee box, and we're going to use a brush. And so now I just create my surface and I click, and there's my tee box. So we're just going to use that one for fun. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this surface. So what I do is I click on a spline point, I go edit, I go delete, and then we're going to go delete spline, and that'll delete the whole thing. There we go. We got a tee box. Looking down the coastline, we got some trees on the side. You can sort of see we have a natural looking flow to the land. But what I do want to do is we want to get this tee box flat. So always using landscape flatten. These are the different brushes you can use, which give you different shapes. So we can test them out right here. If we make one bigger, you can see that creates a square, right? If we do this guy, that creates a mound. So all these different brushes give you different shapes, and you can use them very creatively. You might think, oh, there's not a shape that I really like. You can use these things to create that shape. So there's a sort of a ramp shape, or a, you know, uphill slope, and you know, you want to build a big circle. You got that guy, whole bunch. The one that we're certainly going to use the most is this guy here, which we call the soft brush. And this one here, it does a million things. I use it way more than any other brush, but in a situation like this, we can just flatten this land. I got this up at 10 centimeters. You can see we had some mounds there, and now if we click on it, you can see it's just gently flattening it out. Now what we want to do is we want to flatten this tee box. So I can use this brush and I can click on it, but that's not going to do the best job of it. We want something that's perfectly flat. So in that case, we're going to get a box of some sort. So here we go. We have a box right there. And so we're going to take this, put it around our surface, and then we're going to lift that up just slightly. Let's just go up, we'll go up a couple feet. And there we go. We have a perfectly flat tee box right there. There's our tee box. So we don't know where the hole is going yet, and we're going to create one. So same way we built this tee box, we're going to go to edit hole, and we're going to go create hole. You can do this before you create the tee box. What you will notice is that there's nothing here because we've removed all of the shapes, everything earlier before we got onto the plot. So we're just going to create a simple par 4. We're going to have it go out about, let's say, 300 yards there, and then another 100 yards or so. So we'll create a 400 yard par 4, and that put the fairway in there. So we don't want that. So what's going on here? Why did it do that? What we got to do is we got to go into course settings. So we're going to go to tee box settings, tee box size. We're going to completely delete that. So you saw that square disappear there. If I move this back up, does that. That's not what we want. So we want the tee box size down. Then we're going to go to the fairway settings, and fairway width is at 0. So we're going to move that to 0. Fairway bunkers, move that to 0. So our fairways are turned off. Now we want to go into the rough and the rough width. That's the problem there. So we should see after that, that rough goes away. Then we have the texture, the firmness, the roll. So we don't need to worry about any of that. The next thing we probably do have to worry about up here, perhaps, is the green settings. And we want to make sure that we have no green bunkers in here. Green bunkers at 50. So we want that at 0. Now what do we have? We have a hole. We have a piece of land. We know where it's going. And now it's just about building it. If we want to get rid of these trees here, maybe I want to see more coastline. We're going to go to sculpt, and we're going to go to clear generated objects, and then we're going to go to clear generated objects brush, and we're just going to click on this guy here. And then what we can do is we can put it on top of those trees, and we're just going to delete these trees. Since I want to be able to see that coastline, we'll delete those. So I'm going to delete a bunch of stuff here so that we sort of have a clean plot for our little par 4 here. This isn't going to be the most beautiful hole, but again, I'm going to show you some of the things that I think will get you going in the right direction. Perhaps we want to build up or bring down the side of a hole. There's a couple ways to do that. what we can do is we can grab any of our brushes. We're going to go to we're going to go to the tracks, we're going to go to sculpt, we're going to go to landscaping tools, and we're going to go to landscape flatten always, just all the time. And what I can do is, let's grab a brush and we'll grab the soft brush and we'll bring this up a bit. So let's create a big sort of mound here. So this is going to bring this land up. We'll do a couple of them. So now if we go down here, we can see that that land on the side has been elevated. Now that's not really going to play great on our golf hole. So what we're going to do is we want to flatten that out. And so we're going to bring that down slightly, but we're still going to keep that mound there. So let's flatten this out a little bit. And we want to be careful, because if we go down too far here, you can see right there, because we're right on the edge of the water, if we go down, we're going to hit that water. So we don't want to do that unless you want to. If I want to bring that water in a little bit right here, I can click that. And there we go. I have that water line over. Again, endless creativity. I'm just trying to give you the simple things to do. Next thing we need a green and a fairway. So let's get those put in place. We're going to go to edit holes, create surface, fairway. And fairways, I like to use the spline. So we're going to go fairway spline tool, and we're just going to create a simple fairway. Now, this one, I sort of see here, we're going to build this going over and out onto that peninsula, and we'll have the fairway going around the green. Just creating a fairway that isn't perfectly straight. Now, it does look really odd and really not even. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to fairway spline point. We're going to go to edit, and we're going to go to sharpen smooth, and we're going to go to smooth spline. Smooth spline is going to smooth all of all of our spline points and make it more smooth, as you can see. Other thing we can do, we can grab one of these spline points. Perhaps I want this moved. I can grab that and just move it over. So if I want to adjust the shape, perhaps I want to move this fairway a little bit closer to the water, we can move that out there, and that's sort of the general shape. I'm just going to keep this shape because it doesn't matter too much. But one more thing I want to do with the fairways. What we have here is we have a fairway, and then it goes directly into the rough. Well, what I want to do is I want to have a little bit of rough in between. So I'm going to pick a spline point once again, and then we're going to go to secondary surface. And with secondary surface, I want to put in a light rough, and then we'll see here we got that little edge. So we have a little bit of light rough there. Now we can choose in here secondary width. We can choose how wide we want that as well. So maybe I want it a little bit wider. Let's make it about 5 yards wide. There we go. Now we just have a nice looking edge of that fairway. You'll notice that this fairway isn't flat. One of the first things that I always do when I create a fairway is get our soft brush, and we go on 0. We can make the brush bigger or smaller, but we're just going to go over the whole edge of this fairway, and this is going to smooth it out so that our whole fairway is nice and smooth. You can see the way that that looks right there. If we make the brush bigger, couple clicks, nice smooth fairway. Fairway that angles into the rough. Up here, okay, look, we can see we got a problem here, so let's flatten this out. Flatten this out. I'm not going to flatten all this, but you can see how you can use this brush to level the land or to do whatever you like with the land. Perhaps we want in here, we want to put a bunker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this all down a little bit, just a little bit, not even 8 feet. Let's go 6 feet down. So what it's going to do is in the middle, it's going to push it down, and then it's going to have a gentle, nice slope going up towards the fairway. So there we go. That is down. And now if we come in here, you can see it's been leveled down a little bit, but still sloping up to the fairway. And this fairway is on a severe slope. because of the slope that I built prior. So we're gonna level that out a bit here too. I'm just gonna go to the 0. I'm gonna create this brush, make it really big, and then it's just gonna really be a matter of a couple clicks here. You can see how big my brush is. A couple clicks there, and now we have a much smoother area for our green. Speaking of greens, let's create a green. So same thing, we're gonna go to edit holes, create surface, and we're gonna create a green. And I like doing this with splines. You can also do it with brushes, but we're gonna go ahead and create whatever green you like. We'll make a very big green or pretty good size green, maybe in that sort of shape. Just throwing it out there. You can do whatever you like. Again, we're gonna click on the spline points, green spline point, edit, sharpen smooth, and then we're gonna smooth the spline, and we will have a nice, beautiful sort of rounded green there. If I want to delete this spline point, I'm gonna click green spline point and I'm gonna delete. And if I click delete spline, that's gonna delete the whole thing. But if I click delete point, I just want to get rid of that point right there. So I'm gonna get rid of this point as well. We'll go delete and delete point. And now, you know, we sort of have this, a green that looks like this. So we got the start of a hole. We got a tee box, we got a fairway. We can actually play this hole now. We got a tee box, a fairway, we got a pin right here. Just OCD, I'm gonna move this to the middle. I like starting it in the middle of the green with the waypoints. And we have a hole. So let's put this pin somewhere in here where it's flat. You notice when I hover over the green, we can see the shape of the green. So this is still sloping severely down, well, towards the water to the back right, and sloping down. So we can take this landscaping brush, same brush we use, flat one. Let's go zeros, and we'll just level this out. Let's get rid of all this. Let's get rid of all the red, flatten this green out for the most part. So you can see a couple seconds and we flatten that right out. Now let's say at the back, I want to create a mound. If I create a mound, I like this brush right here, and let's put one right here. This is going to go onto the green, as you can see. We'll do it at about 2 feet. So we'll put a mound, and that's going to flow onto the green. And as we get closer, if we fly by, you can see we got our mound right here, and then everything funneling back off that mound onto the green. So nice little subtle piece there. And again, this is just creativity, guys. I'm not trying to build a beautiful hole here. I'm just trying to show you the main tools that we need. Next thing we want to do, we want to build a bunker. I'll show you how I build some of my bunkers. We'll build 2 bunkers. So the first one, we're going to go to our landscape flatten, and we're going to pick a shape. In this case, let's just pick a circle. We'll pick like a pot bunker. So I'm going to take a pot bunker, and we're going to drop that right in there. I'm going to lower the land. I want to lower it about 3 feet. You don't want to go too far down, or it's really hard to hit out of. You don't want every bunker being a problem where if someone hits it in that bunker, they have no shot out. That's not the way real golf is played. So I don't want to go down too much with this, but let's go down about a foot. 4 feet, don't want to go down that far. 2 feet 7 inches. There we go. So you can see we have a nice piece there, place for our bunker to go in. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the brush for this one. So I'm going to go create surface, bunker. We're going to grab bunker brush, and then we're going to grab a circle, and we're really simply going to pop a bunker in there. Easy peasy. Now take a look at this bunker. We have nice edge on this side, but generally speaking, pretty decent looking bunker. To tidy this thing up, not something I really wanted to get into, but again, we're going to go back to that soft brush, and maybe I want to move this up a little bit. Don't want to go up that much. 6 inches, probably good, 6 inches at a time. And we can lift this land around here, just because it looks sort of funky where it is. Actually needs to come up a bit more than that. See, I'm going 4 feet now. This is going to lift it severely. But what you can see from back here, what we created now is there's a bunker where that edge is up a little bit so that we can see it from a distance. So there's one kind of bunker. Looks, you know, looks fine for a 2-minute job. It's a bunker. It works. It will eat golf balls. That's bunker 1. Let's create another bunker, and we'll do this one as a spline. So we're gonna go landscape flatten. I want to be able to see this one off the tee. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, I'm gonna soften this a little bit and level this fairway. But what I want to do is I want to lower this land so that I can plop this bunker in there. Let's go down 11 feet and see how far that turns out to be. Not bad. Probably want to go just a little bit further. Try 5 feet. And now what I want to do is, we can see that I have this little edge of the mound right here. I want to put my bunker in the bottom of it. Again, I'm doing this very quickly. You can take as much or as little time as you want doing these things, but this is just showing you. So I'm going to wrap my bunker, take it around, go around the edge of that spine, and I don't want to do the same shape because I just did that kind of bunker. So we'll do a big, nasty old weird shaped bunker. There's my bunker. Beautiful. Now we can do the same thing we do with the greens. We're going to click on a spline point. We're going to go bunker spline point. We're going to go to edit, and then we're going to go to smooth sharpen. So we're going to smooth this spline out. And what that does is creates that nice, soft, smooth bunker. That spline point there, we're going to delete that just because it's bugging me. Delete the point, and that will smooth that wall just a little bit there. And there's your bunkers. So we got a couple bunkers. We got a tee box. We got a fairway. We got a green. We got a hole. We got a playable golf hole. What's the next thing we would want to do? Sometimes we want to plant trees. That's probably something that people wouldn't mind doing. I'll give you a couple tips here. I'm just going to grab whatever tree. Let's grab a bigger tree. Not that. So we'll grab this ash here. So what you want to do, or what I do, is I want these trees, as they go down the fairway, to get very slightly smaller. And I'll show you why in a minute. You'll see the sort of the final result. This obviously isn't exactly how I would plant my trees, but I'm just sort of showing you the effect that it will give. So we plant our trees all the way down. So now what we have is you have that nice gentle sloping line down towards the hole. So it just creates a great look, where if you put in just random heights of trees, it just looks a little bit sloppier. So you can go ahead and put trees behind this now. This is deeper than I wanted to get, but I can take whatever tree here. Let's take a taller tree. Let's take this ash. I can put this in here and put it behind. But you can see how if I put this big ash right here, it just doesn't look as clean. But that's just one little tip. I like the way that looks. You can add more trees behind, but I sort of want the skyline or the edge of this, the top of this tree line, to sort of funnel your eye and focus it down to that green right there. So that's planting trees. Green sculpting is obviously creativity and using whatever brushes you want. So I do like the soften brush still. We're gonna flatten this top out. I'm just gonna put in, let's see what this one does. If we put in a little bit of a ridge there, you can sort of see the effect that's having. Let's use that one. So this is gonna create a slope what's going to happen is it's going to slope from that left side of the green, and it's going to slope down where it's empty. That's a flat area, as you can see, and then it slopes down dramatically further to the right. So sort of a neat look, and I will click this so that we can see what it looks like after. I'll do this down just, yeah, 8 inches will be plenty. We'll make it a little bit bigger, and we'll click that, and now you can see what we have here is we have this dramatic slope coming off of the left side, coming down into a flat area, and then off the edge we have another slope there. So again, greens, you can spend hours on greens, you can spend minutes, it's up to you, but there we go. So there you have it, guys. That's a quick video. Now you know how to build a tee box, you know how to build a fairway, you know how to build a green. We even know how to put a bunker in there and plant some trees. So you got everything that you need to get into 2K25, start playing the game, and start building a golf course. There's a big learning curve here, you know, but obviously have fun with it. Like this thing's fun. I love designing golf courses, but use your creativity, and you know, don't stew too long. These things take a while to build, and you're always going to be learning, and we're all going to look back on our first golf course and sort of say, oh yeah, I thought it was great at the time, and it turns out to be not so great, because you learn, you get better over time, like with anything. But guys, thanks for watching the video. I'll have more to come. I appreciate you watching. Hit that like, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I'm a new creator here. I have another channel, but I hope to get a little bit of a following here. I do a lot of live design, and would enjoy if some of you guys pop in and hang out with me if you want. But there you go, guys. Have fun with 2K25. We'll check you.